Don't concentrate on the finger or you will miss all that heavenly glory.
So let's just say that I make my own simulation.
GOAD podcast.
Guys, ready?
We're ready, bro.
Ready.
Ready for action.
We are ready, Freddie.
1, 2.
We are. No, there's no 1, 2, 3. There is.
3, 2,
It's
1.
live. Are we live?
Whoa.
Oh my goodness! Invite.
We are live.
Let's watch together. Let's watch together on this.
So we're going to get on our devices right now. And
I don't even know.
We're going to start a watch party.
There. Oh my God! I'm watching you, watching me, watching you.
Oh
Can
my.
you hear it though?
I don't know. I got headphones on.
Well, try to
Is that a
see
joke?
if you can hear it.
Is that a joke?
Yeah, watch.
We can hear it because we're in the same room.
Watch this.
Can you hear it though?
Can you hear it though?
Yeah, boy.
Can you?
Start a watch party. Let's do this.
It's like a minute delayed.
Yeah,
Live.
So you definitely want to turn the volume down.
All right.
Oh,
So
whoa.
anyway, welcome to GOAD. We're doing something special.
minute delayed.
Welcome
Oh my gosh.
to GOAD.
What are you doing right now?
Well, I'm turning it off now
All right,
because
turn
I
it
just shared it live.
I want to see what I look like.
You gotta
I don't want to see what you look like
Look
right
at the
now.
camera,
Look
and
at
then
the
look on your
camera.
phone.
What's up?
wrong at the
Live.
GOAD podcast.
So a little while ago, I already gacked up on some whoop chicken, but now
Yes.
I just made some more.
Hey.
And so
You
I'm going to
made-
get gacked up.
What do? I hit
Gactered?
watch this
Gactered.
video with a group.
Press watch party.
You're the gactus.
It doesn't say watch
Yes,
party.
it shows right there.
You
It says
are
watch
the
this video with a
gactist.
group.
Okay,
Hit
here's the
start?
watch party. Yes.
Yeah, watch party.
And then just share it, and then people will be able to watch it from like all your friends on your friends list if they like you.
And we'll try to keep the breathing out of the mic. So here's the revelations over the last several
It's Jake's
weeks.
pet peeve.
And you know what's funny? It's my pet peeve, and I'm the biggest offender. as I listen to these podcasts,
Oh,
and I'm
man.
going back and I'm going, what's that sound? What's that sound? I'm like, oh my God, it's me breathing.
Yeah, I
Dang
kind
it.
of learned to try to like
Yeah.
face
It's
my mouth
so
a
weird.
different way.
We both wish you'd stop.
I
breathing.
know. There it is. So we've stopped. So now we're deciding to do something very special today because we're trying to promote this podcast, trying to get some of our loved ones, some of our people, some of our
Watch.
some of our friends to subscribe to the podcast and leave a review, 5 stars, please. Trying to make the news and noteworthy part of the iTunes, universe. And you can reach it. You can subscribe on Spotify or iTunes or anywhere else you get podcasts.
Podcast.
I for one would like to dedicate my third of the podcast to moms out there driving trucks, delivering goods from coast to coast or local.
Moms.
All that you do for us moms in driving trucks, wherever you're driving trucks, we love you and we appreciate you delivering our goods.
How'd you pick that?
Yeah, how
I
did you
got
pick
it.
that?
Look, I
Does
have
your
to-
mom drive a truck?
I have to dedicate the show on the last couple weeks. I'm on a roll. I'm dedicating my third of the show to very special people in the world. That's all I can tell you.
Amen. Well, I'm going to dedicate mine today to my wife.
Oh,
The reason
okay.
why is because she loves what we're going to talk about today.
Does she?
Yes.
Contractual law?
If it wasn't for her, listen, if it wasn't for my wife, I wouldn't be
You wouldn't
the
be here?
mindset that I have now.
Stacy gets gacked out on constitutional law?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. If it wasn't for her, I would still be anti-political guy that doesn't care and try to overthrow everything.
How'd that work out for you?
Didn't work out very well. I ended up in jail a lot.
A lot.
A lot.
How many times did you go to jail?
Oh man, I
Can
don't
we say?
know.
It's live.
I do not know. I don't remember.
You're a pastor. They won't ever give you a job again.
15, 20, 30 times. I don't know.
Oh, but you're a Calvary Chapel pastor. That makes it
Yeah,
better. 'cause all
that's way
all
better.
those guys have been to jail.
I mean, come on. You got to understand that just because I was a bad person back in the day, but doesn't mean that I am now.
Yeah, right.
Well, I'm a sinner saved by grace.
So what did Stacy do? She sat you down one night and she said, "Look, son, if we're going to be together, you're going to have to memorize the preamble to the Constitution, and we're going to have to learn this stuff together."
No. So what happened was,
I think that's
it's
what it was.
funny
curious.
because she never told me how conservative she was when we were dating the 3 months that we were dating, and then we got married after 3 months,
Yeah.
right? So she never. I mean, I guess we just never had the chance to talk about that kind of stuff. But there was one night when we were sitting in the living room, and then she goes, "I want to watch the news." So I'm thinking like Channel 11, like local news.
You were thinking local news?
Yeah, I was thinking all of that kind of stuff, but then she put on Fox News, and I'm like, what is this?
I would be so much more concerned about her if she turned on local news.
I was like, what are you watching? I don't want to watch this. Politics? I hate politics. But then, I started learning more, and I started, realizing that politics are very, not just politics, but the government and everything that goes along with that is very important to what I believe. And, it's important because I never voted in my life until, Mitt Romney was going against, Barack Obama. That was the first time I ever voted in my life.
Yeah, wow.
And it took that long, to realize that I got to vote for what is right.
2008.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, the Mitt Romney.
When did
That
he?
was 2012.
Oh my! What? 12? No.
Yeah, 12.
I don't know.
I
Don't
defer.
ask me. I have no idea.
Because it was Trump has been in there for 4 years now, and that was 2016.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
2012.
gotcha. Okay.
So that was the first time I ever voted in my life, and I understand
Wow.
that it's very, very important to what I believe and what according to what the Bible
Yeah.
shows.
Well, it's our.
But before that, no.
It's a big It's a big responsibility.
Didn't
were you guys,
care.
Were you guys watching the State of the Union before you came in?
Yeah, and it's still on right now, isn't
It's
it?
still on.
It's still on.
Nancy
yes.
Pelosi
So-
still staring out into
Dude.
the ether like she's thinking of midgets and rainbows.
Dude, did you see? I don't even want to talk about people right now. There was
She's
a lot of smiling faces. There was a lot of bitter faces. And if everybody knows what's going on right now in politics, you would understand the bitter faces and the smiling faces.
Here's the dumb thing. Jared and I were talking just a few minutes ago. This is the dumbest thing I think is that. Are you just moving your hands? It's just like
I'm making entertainment for the watchers.
No idea what to talk about.
We were watching. I was watching this State of the Union address, and if the objective facts point to the idea that unemployment is at its lowest for, let's say, blacks and Asians and Mexicans and everybody else,
And me.
is that objective?
We love you, Jared.
Is that objective? And if it is objective facts, shouldn't everybody be celebrating that?
Yeah, standing, clapping. But then you got like I said, those bitter people that are just like,
Dude,
just
it's
sitting
become-
there with their faces,
It's
sucked
become
in like
too much about me versus you and liberal versus conservative and Republicans versus Democrats. It's too much.
Amen.
We're all the
It
same
is
team.
Way too
We're all the
much.
same team. We're all in the same state. No, we're not.
Country.
No, the same country, yes. So, you guys,
This is why I'm not talking. I don't know where we're not all in, they're not. Was that address not in California?
no, that's in Washington, D.C., bro. All right.
Just down the street. It was at the library.
It
Was that
in
the Honda Center?
It was in the GOAD dungeon, bro.
It's at the Honda
in the GOAD dungeon. So, you guys, you got to understand
God.
that when I was younger in 8th grade, I
Younger
almost
in-
didn't graduate junior high school.
I believe that.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't do homework. I didn't do anything. And the one thing that they wanted me to do to graduate, and it's kind of funny because I don't even remember any of my teachers' names, especially the teacher that gave me the answers to the government side, the government part of what I was supposed to pass. She gave me all the answers, but the one thing that she really wanted me to do was to memorize the preamble. I'm not going to say that right now. Maybe I'll say it in a little bit. Because once I started understanding that, the Constitution and everything that this country stands on, is important, I had to go back even farther than that. And so when I was thinking about it, I remember the Mayflower Compact. If anybody remembers.
You remembered the Mayflower Compact when you were remembering that you had to memorize the preamble to the Constitution?
Yes, because I remember all of the, not every single answer, but I remember that one of the things that was said on those answers that the teacher gave me was about the Mayflower Compact.
It's the most random. I was thinking
And
about this, and then I thought the Mayflower Compact.
But I don't remember the teacher's name.
What?
I don't, but I remember the Mayflower Compact.
Are you going to read it?
So I am going to read it, but just imagine just from what these people were coming from and what they were leaving behind.
Did they come on the Mayflower?
Yes,
We're talking
they were
about
on the Mayflower. And as they were on the sea, they had sort of a conversation. They were starting to get really riled up with each other, started getting mad. But then the whole thing was about like when we reach this new land, how are we going to govern it? How is everything going to run? And so then they decided it's not supposed to be people like a government, like a tyranny over you, because that's what they were coming from. And so they wanted to build something different. And so what they decided is that it's the people.
As early as Plymouth Rock,
As
they were discussing this?
what year
At
is this?
sea,
Before they even got here?
They had to think about something.
November
I guess so,
1620.
1620.
Okay.
Let me read this, and you guys are gonna trip, and
Then
I love it.
Let me sit down then. I don't want to trip.
All right. So November 1620, at sea. In the name of God, amen.
Amen.
We, whose names are underwritten, the loyal subjects of our dread sovereign Lord King James, by the grace of God, of England, France, and Ireland, King Defender of the Faith, having undertaken for the glory of God and advancement of the Christian faith and the honor of our King and country, a voyage to plant the first colony in the northern parts of Virginia, do by these present solemnly and mutually in the presence of God and one of another covenant, and combine ourselves together into a civil body politic, for our better ordering and preservation, the furtherance of the ends aforesaid, and by virtue hereof to intact, constitute, and frame such just and equal laws, ordinances, acts, constitutions, and offices from time to time, and shall be thought most meet and convenient for the general good of the colony, unto which we promise all due submission and obedience.
That's nice.
In witness whereof we have hereunto subscribed our names at the Cape Cod, the 11th of November, in the reign of our sovereign Lord King James of England, France, and Ireland, the 18th in Scotland, and 54th Anno Domini.
And so what's that mean? No, I just want just like
Didn't you
Summarize.
summarize it.
What
Just summarize
you guys
it.
were doing when I was reading that, you guys weren't paying attention?
Of course, I was paying attention,
Okay,
but
then-
there was so much there. I want you to summarize it.
So basically, they're saying we're going to establish, when we reach the new land, we're going to establish a government run by the people.
Awesome. See?
Yeah.
Thank you.
And that was even before the Liberty Matrix. Or the Matrix.
This is what
of
the Liberty Bell sounded like.
So we're the Liberty Matrix. So
Yes.
we have the Mayflower Compact.
So you have the Mayflower Compact, and then the Liberty Matrix, and then the Constitution actually came.
That's when the first Neo showed up.
Boom.
So that's the Liberty Matrix was created because they wanted to make a mural. Not a mural.
A mural?
A monument for the Pilgrims who established the colonies here. And so at first it was called the Pilgrims Monument, and then they decided to switch the name to the Matrix of Liberty. And if you guys look at that, and if you guys wonder what it was created for, it was a monument. So if the government has ever gone too far away from the actual laws, the morality, education, and all these other things, that they would look back at this monument and remember where everything has come from.
I think I've seen that monument. on TV.
Well, have you ever seen that movie Monumental?
Yes, that's where I saw it.
Yeah.
Kirk Cameron?
Yeah. Good movie.
I have
Good
not.
So, yeah, that's what this monument was made for. If the government has gone so far from where it should stand, that when they look at this Liberty Matrix, that they would remember this is the way we're supposed to be going.
Now, as I understand, there's the Constitution wasn't just birthed on, let's say, from what I understand, there was some foundation in like 1270 or something, King Henry or.
I think they drew from laws. They drew from laws and things that happened in history to make the Constitution.
To see all the things that went wrong in history, let's say.
Yeah.
And then go, we don't want to be like that.
We don't want history to repeat itself.
Yes, because history always repeats itself,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Was it King Henry, though? Isn't 1200s where somebody...
I think so.
Somebody kills his dad, and he took over, and then he decided that he was going to have like a democracy or whatever he was going to have.
Something like that.
Yeah. And then they had something written as a constitution or some form of agreement
Yeah.
between himself and the people. And part of that is what got adopted here when we were establishing our constitution here.
Yeah. So they went through all the way through history, the things kings did, did wrong, did right, and said, hey, this is how our constitution, this is what it's going to look like. And it's going to be people ran, we don't want it run by
Politicians.
yeah. We want it
Oh, how far we've
Run
come.
by the people.
by the people.
So, and it means
By the
just
people,
like
for
a
the people.
teacher.
by the people,
You know,
for the people.
A teacher, a businessman,
Yeah.
anybody.
Well, and that's what's so interesting about the way that America is set up is because we are the ones, although Nancy Pelosi, you've all forgotten, Schumer, huh? What? You've all forgotten who you work for, son? Who's paying those checks? This guy.
Right. Well, we've come a long way because really, you look at it and you got to make a decision. Do you want to depend on government
No.
or do you want to depend on God?
Right.
Amen.
Right? So now,
And just think of that Mayflower Compact, dude.
Yes.
It starts with God.
yeah,
Amen.
It started with
absolutely.
God.
But we're so far from that now. So you have most of the people back then, they believed in God. You look at all the people that helped write the Constitution. How many people wrote the Constitution?
A ton, but there's...
It was over
most of them,
200,
they were
right?
theists, though. I mean, they weren't
Not most of
necessarily
them.
Christian
There was
or
a
whatever.
lot of them that were Christian. A lot of them. I mean, we go research a lot of those people, those judges, and they were ministers, and they did so much for evangelistically.
Well, that's where-
Yeah, and a lot of the Constitution, the Bill of Rights and all the amendments are actually sermons.
there's probably like
Yeah.
2 or 3 of them that weren't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But majority of
The
them
majority
weren't.
of them were at least theists.
Yeah.
Believed in a God.
believed in a God.
Believed in a creator. That's really the foundation of, at least one of the very deepest foundational principles of how America is that we were endowed with inalienable rights given to us by a being far above, exceeding in power, knowledge, and greatness than any
Sovereign.
human being.
Yeah.
And so if that being, God, is willing to endow us with all that freedom, creativity, liberty, and all that, then who are you to take it away?
We're created in His image. And if you go back to way before the 1200s, back when God's people were like, hey, we want a king. All these other nations have kings.
A monarchy.
And
yeah.
God was like, no, you guys don't want a king. I'll rule you. If you have a king, he's going to tax you. He's going to take your money. He's going to take your women.
He's going to take your horses.
He's going to take your freedom.
crops.
Yeah. And they're like, no, we want a
He'll take your
king.
children.
Yeah.
And that was what he said.
Yeah. And they
Said
were
you
like,
could-
no, we want this. All the other countries have them. We want it. And God was like, fine, if that's what you want,
Then you're gonna get it.
then you're going to get it. And what
then
have
the
they
first
done?
King.
They tax you. They did everything God
They-
said because
That
that's
idiots.
first king was just wrong. He was a bad guy.
What? Oh, Saul?
Saul.
Well, look, when you give an ordinary man that much power and set him up high above everybody else, where he's going to rule power is hard. That's why we deal with, when we discuss the power class here, the House, the Senate, the executive branch, and everybody, and all the politicians involved. We're talking about not necessarily people who are even out there for our good anymore, representing us. These are just people trying to hold on to their own power. And
I agree.
So when they lift themselves up here, it's like, I think it was Nancy Pelosi years ago when I think she was sitting down with a colonel or a general or whatever it was from a military.
Colonel Mustard.
And he called, maybe Colonel Mustard.
Colonel Sanders.
He kept calling her ma'am because he's polite, right? Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. And she looks at him with this disdain and says, "Call me senator. I think I've earned it."
Right.
You're like, F you, lady. That's not, you earned it. You work for us.
Right.
You talking to a general who goes to battle, who manages young men and women that are going to go out and die for our liberties, and you have the audacity to sit in your leather chair drinking wine on our dime
with your special pens
and saying you deserve something.
The only reason why she's there is because of the people, man. I mean, just I've been watching the impeachment hearings for these past couple of weeks, and man, these people are like, "We the people say this. We're working for the people, this and that." And I'm like, "Well, you're not working for me. You have a different mindset than I do. I want what is right, and I don't want to hear lies anymore." And so that's all I've been hearing lately.
No, right. Or
I've been hearing truth also, but also more lies and crybaby because people lost,
Yeah. And in what world can somebody decide that now that I'm in power, I can take half of your stuff and give it to him?
Mm-hmm.
I will never let you do that.
No, but that's what people are doing. That's absolutely.
So you can give it to him.
No, but you are. You're letting the government.
You don't have
the government's doing it to you.
The government's doing it to you.
I know that, but you can't.
I can't. I wouldn't want to because you're sovereign over your own life. That's what God has given you as a gift.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Yeah.
And so why would I can't take what you've earned, what you fought for, and go, you had enough. You have your fair share.
Yeah.
You have exactly what you deserve. Now I'm going to take the rest and give it to Jared.
Okay, hold on. So you're talking about communism? I mean, socialism?
I'm talking about taxation.
Taxation with that representation.
How it is right now, if you make over a certain dollar amount per year and you're not smart enough to hide your money, they take half.
Wesley Snipes.
Right.
No.
They take half and then give it away to people who don't look. Don't get us wrong. We give to homeless. We care about homeless. We care about people who are down and out. We care about all those
Amen.
people. We do.
And that's what the church.
I just don't want the government taking my stuff and deciding that it's up to them to give it away, because it never makes it to the homeless people.
It doesn't. I mean, just look at California now.
Yeah, it makes it to nice dinners, and it makes it to nice balls, and it makes it to nice glasses of wine and expensive cheeseburgers in DC. You know the most expensive cheeseburger? You can find that in Washington, DC.
Probably.
Yeah, it's got gold and all kinds of stuff on it.
Gold?
Yeah.
You eat gold?
Yeah, they put gold flakes on it.
I heard about that.
No way.
Yeah,
It's like
just recently.
It's like $1,000 cheeseburger.
Yeah.
And you eat the gold?
You eat the gold.
And then you poo the gold.
Yeah, you poo the gold.
And then you got to collect
and you flush
the gold
it down
again.
the toilet?
Then you're like
no,
the gold.
you collect the gold.
You collect it?
Yeah.
You gotta
It's not worth anything.
sift
It's like
it?
thin flakes. Yeah, it's like
What are
this
you
kind
doing?
of gold.
Get my
What
gold.
is that stuff called? Goldschlager?
Gold.
Remember that stuff?
Oh my God, that's going back. Gold slugger.
Goldschlager.
But that's what they're. The money doesn't make it to where it needs to go. It's like that's when they said, "Oh, we're going to tax cigarettes and we're going to tax all this and we're going to give that money to the schools because
And
they
the lottery.
don't have any money." And then what happened to the money? And why do the schools still need money when you're taxing gas? Why do the roads still need to be repaired and more taxes need to be increased? Because the toll roads, the gas tax, all that was supposed to go to pay for the roads doesn't make it to the roads.
And now they want to tax us for driving.
Yeah, per mile.
And they're not even supposed to tax us for driving. Like, we're supposed to be able to freely travel without being taxed.
Well,
or
the reason why
charged.
they want to bring the tax for driving is because there's so many people buying cars and there's so many people on the road.
Yeah.
Well, they're
And then
they're stacking us all together. They
And
have
then,
to.
and then they're trying to, the 405 right here, they're trying to, extend it, and it's like worse.
Oh yeah, so far.
Dude,
The whole 405 from
that's
here to Malibu
horrible.
or from here to Santa Monica is a train
that's-
wreck.
Horrible.
Think of what inheritance tax? You inherit something, you got
Oh,
that's just evil.
I spend my life building a fortune. It's called like a death tax, right? Where you like spend your whole life accumulating a fortune, building some legacy for your family. You're doing great. You're sweating blood. You're just like, and then you die. They take half.
Yeah. That's
No.
not right.
What?
That's
I'm
not
going to
right.
speak for all of us. We pay Caesar what is Caesar's, and we pay God what is God's.
Your life
Yeah.
belongs to God.
Yes. So that's my motto. They can do whatever they want with it, though.
It's still not right.
It's still
not
not
right.
right because these impeachment hearings are costing us so much money and nothing.
And
is
that's
getting
where-
done. It was a sham.
People
Horrible. But
people
all right, let me
people
ask
are
you-
letting. That's why you and us we're letting the government take from us.
So what is the preamble, Jared?
I don't know. You said you knew it.
I do know it.
I didn't get taught it in 8th grade from some teacher I didn't know.
Well, I didn't say I didn't know the teacher. I said I don't remember.
did
the
not
name
know
of
her.
the
We
teacher
the people of the United States of America to form a more perfect union
in order.
in order to. Well, all right. Well, then you'd give it.
Yeah, you give
do
it. How long is
Well,
this?
the reason why
It's
is 'cause
only like 2 minutes.
You went on
It's
a
not
big
even-
tangent,
I did.
and
I did.
I just want to come back to what we were talking about.
Constitutionality.
So, we the people of the United States of America, in order to form a more perfect union,
Wrap
establish justice for
Democracy. Democratic. I'm just trying to wrap it.
He's being your hype man.
I'm your hype man,
You're
bro.
my hype man.
This is Josh Ariola in the house.
For domestic tranquility,
Tranquility.
provide for common defense, promote the general
Defense.
welfare and security, blessings of
Welfare
liberty
and
to
security.
ourselves and our posterity, to ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America.
That's essentially a summary of what the Constitution is, right?
Yes.
It's basically a bullet point. If you bullet pointed it, boom, 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 this is what the Constitution is supposed to be.
And it was formed out of sermons,
Sermons,
biblical
bro.
principles,
Principles.
sermons. If nobody knows what a sermon is,
Yeah.
maybe I'll have a YouTube one day with a sermon on it.
Maybe.
You're gonna. We should preach those old sermons. I wonder if we can find them.
Yeah, they're all written down. Absolutely.
You can actually, if you go to watch,
If you can,
Oh my God.
you'll have to read them, and they're in a different language. Old English.
If you go to Washington D.C., I think they have some of them on display.
Dude, you know what? The YouTube
I don't
channel,
know. Don't quote me on that, but I think
I'm
there
gonna
is.
quote you on that.
special YouTube anniversary will dress up like presidents or like the people who gave the sermon.
Jared
and will
would-
give the sermon.
Dude, Jared
Yeah, right.
would
I'm
look
gonna be
like
John
a
Adams.
great
Dude, there's so many. There's
Abraham Lincoln, bro.
Boom.
Put a top hat on this fool, put a bow tie, and put a cummerbund.
Did Abe write it? Abe didn't write anything in the Constitution.
No, but what was it? The Gettysburg Address?
Oh my gosh. Was that a sermon? No, we gotta give sermons.
It was basically a sermon.
Okay. You should do that. You should dress like Abraham Lincoln. Oh my God. Look.
Score.
This is why you need to subscribe, people.
Yes.
Because we're on the verge of genius here. We're going to make you laugh. We can only improve your lives. I'm just saying.
That's it.
It's not.
Oh man,
It's a big responsibility. We take it
I
with
wonder
a
if
great
people
honor.
are actually watching.
well, if they are watching,
Nobody watching.
if they are, their lives do need improvement.
Well, I want to see. So
Oops.
keep going, you guys.
His phone's right there.
Well,
I gotta
my
hide
phone.
the-
He's on
here.
right there. I can
gotta
see
hide
it.
the label because you're not paying us by.
Oh man,
Not paying us
I got Jared. Yeah, okay, you're good. I hid mine.
I don't
So-
care.
This is going to be if I were the spokesperson for this particular drink, I would go on and I would say, "Are you bi?"
But that's not what it says.
What does
It says baya.
No, it says bi. It's B-A-I.
Just kidding.
Look,
I don't know how to pronounce it, bro. I'm not even drinking
In
it.
this perverted generation, I'm going to step up and I'm going to say, "Are you bi? Like me?"
Goodbye.
what do you mean by that?
That is
It's
a good
kind of
buy.
weird.
Unconstitutional.
Well, it's because you're not looking at the sponsorship. He's still not looking at he's laughing as a courtesy, but he's not.
Courtesy laugh.
Courtesy buy. Are you?
Courtesy
Are you?
laugh.
Oh man.
He's
No, he's not.
he's
That's
saying
Bay-Eye.
moving on now.
Is it Bay-Eye?
Bay-Eye?
It's Bay-Eye.
That sounds like some
See,
kind
I
of-
knew it was something different.
Are you Bay-Eye?
Down by the Bay-Eye.
It's just like saying you're by with
No,
an accent.
it's like being down by the bay.
Bay-Eye?
I'm down by the
The
Bay-Eye.
Bayou, you mean?
That's a Bay-Eye. That's like
No, the bay, down
if
by
you
the
run
bay.
into somebody in
I'm
Hollywood,
just
they're
sitting
gonna ask.
on the dock of the bay.
I'm sorry, I'm Bay-Eye. Are you Jake? Nope. I'm Bay-Eye.
I don't even know what.
I don't even know where this is going.
Mordecai?
Where did you find on your phone? You were looking for a sermon. Or,
No, I was actually looking to see
If anybody's watching,
Yeah.
nobody's watching this.
It's probably a
some
good
people are.
thing. They stopped watching when you picked up that drink.
Oh yeah, and start talking about being bi.
See? There you go. Lost 2 more viewers.
Nobody's here. Nobody here is bi. We're minus 2 viewers. But if we lose any more, we won't even be sitting here.
That's Bay
Right?
Eye.
I'm leaving.
Looks like Bay Eye to me.
So
What
in
did
the
you learn?
What I learned is
And talk about the Constitution.
yeah. So what I learned
Yeah.
is if I learned anything so far, and that is that there were some certain parts of the constitutional development that were sermons. I had no idea.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what did you research is what I mean.
Oh, yeah, he didn't mean learn right now.
I meant what did you learn?
What
in
did
your
you learn
research?
during this podcast, Jake? What did you learn?
I learned.
These guys are fools. Especially that one right there. Abraham looking fool.
Father Abraham had many sons.
Oh yeah.
That's right.
Had many sons. Had Father Abraham.
I feel like I
am one
really
of them.
got
And
late.
so are you.
All right, what'd you learn?
What'd you learn? This is a test, bro. What'd you learn?
I learned that it is not the people who are in charge, but the paper that we are under contract with that is that rules our lives. It is the Constitution that is the cornerstone and the foundation of. What are you weirdo? The Constitution is the cornerstone and the foundation of our government. And so when somebody says, hey, man, you're all Christians, you shouldn't be talking trash about Nancy Pelosi. She's the leadership that was put in place of I was like, nah.
You're talking about me.
There
The
he,
Constitution.
there he goes again.
The
You're
Constitution,
talking about me.
the Constitution was put in charge of ruling over us, not people.
You mean the government?
No, not the government. The paper. And when you read Romans 8 or Romans 11, wherever you're reading...
13 or 14.
My bad, 13. Where
You were in 14.
13. It's either 13 or 14.
It's 13.
I
The
know.
governing authorities?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in 13, you're talking about
Like
a
judges.
monarchy who was put in place to rule over people.
Yes.
Apparently
With
by the
his
hand of God.
governors and his satraps
Yeah.
and all these other things, yes.
But for us, it's the Constitution.
But does Pelosi make decisions?
Because we are the
Yeah,
government.
she's a senator.
Does she make decisions that affect your
She's the
life?
Speaker of the House, yeah.
Because
She
they
did.
would.
Does she make decisions that
Do she?
affect your life?
She does.
Yeah.
Then you should be praying for her.
I do pray
Right.
for her.
There you go.
Lord knows you got to pray for her. You see the look in her eyes? She's half dead. I don't even know if she knows where she is most of the time.
If you
You know,
saw,
she says-
did you see the State of the Union?
Oh my gosh, dude, that's what I'm saying. She looks like she is just thinking of random. She doesn't even know where she opens her eyes and she goes, "Oh my God, there's people here."
All right.
This isn't a dream.
If she didn't have more control,
Tangent.
she would probably look over and go, "Hey, husband, did you invite people over? There's a lot of people in here." Look, man, these people.
These people.
I'll talk trash about them all day long. I don't care.
I don't think you
I-
should.
So-
well, I'm going to, because they do not. You know, if they're as good
Is she your enemy?
as good, she's not my enemy, but as good employees, they are not doing a very good job.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So that should
reasonable.
That should be a different.
That's
topic.
reasonable.
That should be a different topic for a different day. Right now, we're talking about the contract.
The Constitution,
The
the
Constitution.
contract, which is the
Constitution, bro.
foundation of all the rules that our laws are built on.
Yes. Okay. Jared.
So, and to the
What?
extent that she or anybody else in government
What?
decides
He
to
always revolves around back to what he wants to say.
I'm just saying. To the extent that she or anybody else decides that they
extreme.
want to violate this document, do I still need to follow them?
No, we get to rise up and kill. That's why we get guns.
Jared.
That's why we're allowed to have guns.
So, Jared, let me ask you a question. Are you conservative towards the Constitution or liberal towards the Constitution?
Oh man,
Why do you have to be one or the other? Why can't you just read the Constitution
I
and go,
l-
oh, look what it says. Let's
I-
do that.
Okay,
Yeah.
that question was to him.
I
All
like
right, my bad.
I like the Constitution. I like it.
My bad.
So would I be liberal to it? Because I want to follow it. Or am I? I'm not conservative. Like, I'm not going to hold back on the Constitution. What do you mean? I don't know. I don't understand the question.
It's an easy question. So, do you follow it? So, do you follow it
I'd like
to the T,
I'd like
jot
to
and
follow
tittle,
it. Jot
or
and tittle.
do you interpret it the way of how you feel?
So
Oh,
yeah.
liberal as in like, just
Right.
whatever.
So
no,
is it a
no, I'm conservative to it.
Yeah, so is it a
Yeah.
concrete document that
Right.
means what it
Yes,
says?
yes.
Or is
It means
a
what it-
living document that you can change and evolve.
You know what? I would say that there's a lot of like, hey, this is because they made it as a foundation for our country. Like, this is how it is. This is how we're gonna be ruled. This is what we're gonna do because it's for the people, right?
By the people.
By the people. By the people.
For and by.
For and by. Just like the drink. There you go.
Bye.
So, yeah.
That's
So
bad.
then,
Hey,
yeah, I don't. So my understanding would be no. It's not like, oh yeah, you can interpret it this way. We
So-
can move back and forth. Is that what you guys would
That's
say?
what I would say.
Yeah.
So
What about you,
based
mister?
on that, though, the right to bear arms, does that mean you should get tanks and rocket launchers?
You have the right.
That's not what that means, though.
It's to
It's-
defend against a tyrannical government.
Yeah.
Right.
And they have tanks and rockets.
Okay.
So-
And their bombs and their guns
their guns and their bombs.
in your head.
I mean, if you have the money to buy one, why wouldn't?
why wouldn't
Why
you?
wouldn't you?
Yeah, if you've got the money, come on, guys. If we've got the money,
If you got the money, I think you should be able to buy a tank.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree
don't
with
see
that.
why not. I
Yeah,
don't think you
buy
should be able
tanks.
I don't think you should be able to drive it on the street, though. By the way, by the way,
So yeah, to overthrow the government if they're trying to be like,
yeah, if they're taking away our God-given rights, you know, if they're straying from biblical concepts, yes, we have the right. We have the right. We have the right to rise up against them and to fight for our freedom.
hello,
Who's there?
the FBI. I heard you guys are wanting to overthrow the government.
no, that's not what we want to do, but
No,
it's our
just
right.
him.
We
No,
have
Facebook.
that. We have
No.
that right.
Yeah.
It is.
We should
our-
be. We should already be doing this right now. Let's
Jared,
go.
Now that is pretty bad.
Somebody grab that ladder.
Yeah, we don't have guns, but we have a ladder. You know how many heads I can stick there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rungs.
That's a
6
6-foot ladder.
heads.
It's a 6-head ladder.
6-head ladder, bro.
6-head ladder. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we should be able to get tanks if we want.
I mean, you look at the way the government's going, okay? And the people, and most people that aren't Christian, it's like they want to depend, not everybody, I'm not saying everybody, but I'm saying there's a lot of people who they don't believe in God, they don't want to put their faith in God, and they want the government to rule their life and to tell them exactly what they can and can't do, and they want to be completely socialist, right?
Yeah, I think
Would you
there's
say
some-
that?
I think
And
there's-
then you have a majority of the Christian people that are like, "Hey, we're ruled by God, and the government has overstepped their boundary.
You
and
got
what
to
they're
understand
taking
that.
from us."
You got to understand
Yeah.
this too. A lot of Christians that I've talked to say they don't vote. They don't vote
that's
because
just
they
crazy.
because they don't want to get too political or too controversial.
are
and stuff
called
like
to
that.
be. We're
But
called to be.
It is our God-given right to choose what is right according to not only the Constitution but the higher authority of what the Bible talks about.
Mm-hmm.
We are supposed to vote so we can have these people who have the same ideals as we do.
Right. If you want to be a Christian and say, "Oh, I'm a Christian, so I just sit back and do nothing," So, I mean, that's like,
and then complain
so,
about how this country is going.
We're not. So we're supposed to just sit back and not fight for our freedoms, not try to make a better place for the future of our. Yeah, we know what Revelation says. We know how it ends, but it doesn't mean we just sit back and go, "Yep, I guess I'll pay that tax."
And that's what really hit me
I guess that's why the government's where it's at today, because that's what we've done. We've sat back and said, "Yeah, I guess I'll pay that."
And
I guess we'll pay
that's
that.
what really hit me at my thought process when I became more conservative in that area of, hey, I need to vote because now I understand that it's very important for our liberties.
Liberty.
Liberty. Look,
Liberty.
If for no other reason to subscribe to our YouTube channel, please, because that's going to allow us to go live on YouTube. But if you're going to subscribe is because if the more that subscribe, the more sponsors we can get. Why would we sing a jingle if we're not getting paid for it? Damn. What is this, a communist society? We're just going to...
No, it's a socialist society.
We're just going to spout off. Look, we got Dr. Pepper represented here. Better pay us, Dr. Pepper. You know what I'm saying? Just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm a free market capitalist. I can't help it. Oh, he did that.
He did the dumb
right there.
So, because of the Constitution, you're able to have your own business.
Boom.
Because I am a child of God, I get my own business. You know, there's other people in other countries that have their own businesses that
Boom.
that don't have a constitution like ours.
Right.
I mean, China's a communist country, but they have well, they're not exactly communist, but they have people there balling.
Oh, okay.
Of course they do. Yeah. And you're only talking about a select few.
Well, yeah, most of the other ones are jumping from the balconies under the factory floor, but
Oh, man.
but there's a lot of them, so they got plenty of people
Yeah.
coming in. But if you go to like Afghanistan or somewhere like that, there's people buying and selling on the street. They have
Afghani?
Yeah, I love negotiating with Chinese and Middle Eastern guys.
Do you?
I love it.
In business? Like
I do.
like when you're selling termites?
Yeah, I love it. Because it's the only time that you can negotiate. Americans don't negotiate very well for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're real timid, but Middle Eastern guys,
Yeah.
you could say anything you want to them, and they respect you more for it. It's it's like Americans, you have to be real nice. Oh gosh, ma'am, and here's this and here's that. But what if we did this with a guy from Middle East? You can say whatever's on your mind.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you just go, come on, Mohammed, you're busting my balls here, man. I got to make some money, right? I can't give you that deal. It's a dumb deal. And he goes, Jacob, okay, I see. Right? I love it, dude. These guys are great.
That's funny.
And the same people that are going to get mad that I said balls on a live broadcast are the same people that don't vote. So go vote and then judge me for my language.
Maybe. Can they make a comment on the...
They can, but there's nobody watching. They could. They saw the pasty walls and thought, that looks like a...
Yeah, I need to
That
get
looks
on
like
that.
a dungeon.
I need to get on that.
Yeah, but it was... Look, the Constitution is what I think of when everybody starts going, oh, well, you really need to... I want to pray for our leaders. Definitely, always. Because they need it. And that's a big responsibility. There's trillions of dollars flowing in and out all the time. It is the biggest budget you can possibly... Who manages the budget? The House, right?
The treasurer.
The treasurer.
The House has power over the purse strings.
The House of Treasures.
Right, so everybody that says, oh, Donald Trump this, or the president's not doing this, or the president's not doing that, the president can only do and can only authorize certain things. If it costs money, he's got to get approval from the House. Because constitutionally, they are the ones that hold the budgetary strings.
Are you sure?
I am sure.
All right.
It's in the Article 1, I think, or first 3, somewhere around there.
How many articles are there?
There's 85.
My
No,
God.
I don't know how many articles there are, but I read them all this past week. I just can't remember. It's early, like in the first or second article, I think. Talks about the separation of powers, the House and Senate, then the
Okay.
executive branch.
Mm-hmm.
Talks about The power of the purse being in the House. So everybody talks about this is so what's weird about where
in the heezy.
What's become so weird is that we set the president up as being somebody that everybody can, like, the spokesperson for hate. Like, if you're uber conservative Republican, then you had Obama that you could, throw sticks at, and you could hate, and you're doing this wrong and you're doing that wrong, blah 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 blah. And then now you have Trump that a lot of people don't like, and they're throwing sticks at him, and you're like, this government is run by three: the House, the Senate, and the executive branch. It's a delegation of powers that are spread out with checks and balances. It's not like one guy can just completely go off the rails and destroy a nation. It takes all three of them to do it.
Amen.
So it's like, it just seems so weird that people don't know, or somehow they think that Trump or the president, let's just say the president, they think the president is like the all-powerful leader of the world. And you're like, he's a spokesperson for America. He's the lead singer in a band. And the rest of the band is the House and the Senate. That's just... And they are supposed to cooperate, and they submit laws. The laws go to the up for vote. Then they go to the president. If he vetoes it, he's got 10 days to veto it. Then it goes back. It goes back with changes if he wants changes. They'll go back with changes. They'll vote. They'll re-sign it. There's a whole process that everything has to go through, and it's not ever really regulated by one person.
Right.
You get some executive privileges as far as, some liberties being president, but it's not like you can just go completely off the rails and drive this train into a...
Do you think it'll always
mountain.
be like that? Do you think the Constitution will be preserved?
No.
Like for the next 50 years?
It's not preserved now.
Yeah, right, exactly. So what do you think? Like, what do you think looking at, like, 50 years from now? What do you see?
Exactly what is happening right now, but worse.
Oh, it's going to be worse. Bro, for sure. Well, I mean...
They're going to try to go jump over all of these hurdles that block them from doing what they want to do.
And when they don't do their job, the House, the Senate, the executive branch, when nobody does their job and they can't agree based on constitutional principles, what is right and what is wrong based on some kind of whatever's presented to be in front of them.
That's what the Liberty Matrix is for.
Yeah, it goes to the Supreme Court. It goes to 9 people who then decide that it's okay, for instance, to murder a baby in a womb because it's constitutional. 9 people decide. Come on. You guys are crazy.
Morale's going to go down for sure.
And then as soon as you go the route of Canada last year, a couple years ago now, passed a law that said that you have to, by law, address somebody in the pronoun that they are associating to.
Identity.
Right, identity, right? So whatever they identify as, that's what you have to call them. And they can change whenever they want, and you have to call them by that pronoun. And if you don't, you go before some kind of tribunal. What?
You can't read Romans 1 in Canada either.
That's crazy talk.
Yeah.
That's why we have freedom of speech here. We can say whatever we want, and we can... Come on. You got to appreciate that at least.
Yeah, well, pretty soon we're not going to have freedom of speech,
Pretty
right?
soon we won't. People who want to evolve the Constitution with the culture.
Especially...
That is horrible.
Churches and, what is it, CN3POs?
Oh, yeah. Well, they all came down on Kevin Hart for some anti-gay stuff that he said like 10 years ago.
Oh, really?
On Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, aren't you going to apologize? And they rode him for months.
Yeah.
Did he have to apologize?
He gave his explanation and he apologized. But at the end of the day, he was just like, look, it was 10 years ago. Get over it.
Yeah.
I've evolved since then. I've changed since then. I've grown since then. I said some stuff back. I'm a freaking comedian.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm a comedian. That's what people... Look, people laugh then. What are you gonna take their jobs away because they laughed at a homophobic joke?
Absolutely. Right? They are. That's what they're
when they start doing that, and then we give them leverage to do that by backing down or backing up.
Right. That's when we pull out our tanks and our guns and our bombs.
And our bombs and our tanks and our...
No, it's when they start like trying to run your home life and stuff like that.
Well, look, and
That's what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean...
And I'm talking about coming to your house and having somebody watch you at all times.
And just so when we're talking
That's
about...
your phone. They gave you a phone.
Yeah, right. When we're
We'll
talking about
watch you at
freedom
all
of speech,
times.
freedom of speech, freedom of religion, all those things that we stand on the Constitution. It's not like Christians are not guilty of standing up and going, hey, you shouldn't be saying this, and you shouldn't be doing that, and you shouldn't be doing this, and you shouldn't be saying that. In the 80s and 90s, there's no shortage of uber conservative Christian women walking around with signs talking trash about heavy metal because they said it was the devil's music. Mm-hmm. Like, what are you gonna do? Outlaw heavy metal? You crazy?
Right.
One of the greatest musical genres ever. By the way.
FYI.
So freedom of speech,
Freedom
guns,
Freedom
tanks,
of speech,
bombs, guns.
right to bear arms.
I get passionate about this stuff.
Yeah.
Don't tell me what I can say and what I can't say.
Don't tell me what to do, bro.
Don't say that.
Don't say that.
Don't say that.
What do you got, whoop chicken?
What?
You're the constitutional scholar up on this mug.
Yeah, what's up, dog? What'd you
not
learn
really.
today? What'd you learn today during this podcast?
During the podcast, that I can buy bombs,
No.
I can buy tanks.
I think what's the most important thing that you want to get out tonight of your mouth
What?
to the people?
And into the airwaves.
What do you
And
want to
into
say?
the airwaves.
What's your message? Do you have a message, bro?
I kind of already said it.
Okay. Reiterate it.
Reiterate it.
Summarize it.
I am conservative towards the Constitution.
Boom.
I don't put myself in the area of Republican, Libertarian, though I vote, towards what my morals are and what I believe in the Bible and whoever's, trying to preserve biblical principles. I vote that way, but I'm more of a constitutionalist. I love the Constitution, and that's the way I am.
Nice.
I'm gonna throw up a bunch of hearts and thumbs up and all that stuff for us because we're
That's
the
kinda
only ones
weird.
watching ourselves.
Oh, my broadcast was
I'm not
interrupted.
even watching it.
Yeah, mine was interrupted too, but I restarted it. Now I'm not. Now I'm good. Now I'm just loving on us.
No, I'm
the
just.
battery hasn't died out yet.
You guys are amazing. Let me just say this. Look,
Oh man,
you guys are so funny.
So funny. Did you?
I have a voice. I
So-
have a voice.
Constitution. Look it up. Read it. Study it, and like we said, it stands.
Is that it?
That's
what
it.
I say.
Is that summarize this podcast?
That's right. What do you guys want to depend on? What do you guys want to follow? God or the government? That's my little spiel. Think about that.
You've been
That's all I got.
You've been slightly quiet this hour. This episode is a quiet. This is the quietest we've
I was
ever heard you.
trying to be a little more serious. You know what I mean? Not downplay what Josh was saying. You know what I mean?
It's very important.
Yeah, it's very important. I didn't want to make him feel like what he was saying wasn't good or antagonize him like usual.
Oh no! I hope that we don't do that. I hope I didn't do that either.
Yeah, so I know when we were dancing while he was saying his speech, but it was a long speech, and I did have him summarize it at the end.
Yeah, because you weren't listening.
I was listening. I was just
No, you weren't. What'd I
dancing.
say?
We were listening. We were doing sign language for the deaf people out there.
I can't even remember your
You know
summary.
sign language? ASL?
I mean,
Let me see.
I faked it.
This is A. I'm just joking. A,
B, C, D,
S,
E, F.
L.
Stop throwing gang signs at me, bro.
Brah.
Fool.
But yeah, I didn't want to be rude or disruptive. I mean, usually I do, especially towards Josh, but not this time. Not this time.
Let's see. Oh, there's Stacy. Stacy's on.
Oh,
Wow.
Stacy!
My wife,
Stacy.
my love.
Oh, you dedicated this one to her.
Yes,
You
I actually
saved-
dedicated this to you, my love.
Dedicated to
You
the ones we
saved
love.
Josh from a lifetime of liberal despair.
Yes.
I wasn't a liberal. I just hated the government. But because of my
Anarchist.
loving wife,
He was an
yes, I was
anarchist.
an anarchist.
He was in
Straight
the
anarchy, dude.
the Sex
Rage
Pistols.
against the machine type of mentality, bro. But because of my loving wife,
Set you straight.
it set me straight.
That's how wives do.
Yeah,
That's what they do, huh?
gave me a backbone.
Oh my goodness.
I like backbones.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
Me too. Dude,
Are you okay?
are you okay? He's thinking about that backbone.
I'm good. Let it.
Don't do it.
Don't do what?
Let's go off air before you do.
What? What are you?
I see the wheels turning
I'm
in
not
your
doing.
brain.
I'm not doing anything.
Is there anything weird you're gonna say about?
Backbone.
Oh my gosh, I know exactly why you set up what you set up
What?
at the beginning.
Don't know.
I just
You don't-
realized.
You don't
I mean,
know. You
yes,
don't know.
because you,
don't
set
know-
up.
you don't know anything.
I know exactly what he's doing. He wanted to do a shout out to all the mothers who drove trucks. Because now at the end he's gonna say goodbye to all those mothers that are truckers. And this is what he did last week
Yeah, he did that.
with the guy named Mitch. So I understand what he's doing.
I mean, I know a couple guys named Mitch, and it was so it was a multiplicity of Mitches.
yeah, you got you just bear with us.
It was
Well,
a herd of Mitches. You know what I'm saying? Like a plethora.
so he's gonna say his outro. But are we
outroing?
Are we outroing?
I don't know what's up to you guys. I'm just sitting here right now because you guys are babbling.
You're flowing.
You're flowing.
You're flowing.
We're all flowing.
All right. So hey, thanks for coming. You guys
Bye.
are amazing. See you, mother truckers.
See you later, guys.
Yeah,
I have to
I did it.
Apologize for my friend.